We've lived without a working sink in our bathroom for almost an entire year, and now I'm finally ready to start working on the vanity for it. And we decided to build it out of oak wood because I really like the dramatic grain it has to express a classic look that we're looking for. So we also purchased a sink and it finally came in, so I'm ready to start by working on the most important part of the piece, which is the top, because it holds our new drop-in ceramic bowl. So I had to use plenty of clamps to make sure it was perfectly smooth. So once I put it together, I then had to cut an irregular shape for the sinkhole. And once I saw how the ceramic bowl looked up against the wood, I got really excited and I can't wait to see this thing finished. And because we waited so long to have a sink, I really want this thing to be something special and unique. So my lovely wife and I took our time designing this thing, so I'm really excited to get started on it. Also, we couldn't find a vanity we liked, so my lovely wife and I decided to design and build one ourselves. And it makes me really thankful that I have the ability to make things like this, and it's all because it started when I was growing up. My parents always seemed to have some DIY house project on our to-do list, and at the time I hated having to spend so much time helping them with projects. Every weekend, it seemed like our house was under construction, whether it was finishing the basement, building a deck, or renovating the kitchen. But something I'm so thankful for now that I have my own house to work on is that I've learned so much helping my parents on projects that I'm now no longer clueless with most of the projects I have to work on myself. I still have had to learn a lot working on my own house, but I feel like being helpful to my parents when I was little turned out to actually be super helpful to myself. I'm making a vanity for our bathroom, but I married a clumsy girl who's always hurting herself by accidentally bumping into things, so I need to make this piece of furniture so that she's not constantly stubbing her toes while she's using the sink. And because this is a standalone vanity, it's not going to have a traditional toe kick, but I'm going to create 4 legs that are inset from the rest of the piece, so hopefully this is safe enough for her to use, while still looking nice. We forgot what it's like to enjoy an organized life, so I'm designing a bathroom sink vanity to fit as many drawers as possible, which is difficult because I also have to account for the sink that protrudes into the cabinet, but also the water supply lines and piping for drainage that runs through the center of the cabinet as well. So I need to create custom wood rails for each individual drawer to slide in and out of, and that requires cutting a notch into the side of all of my drawers, and because I have a tiny table saw, this is going to take roughly 500 cuts. Making this many cuts could be pretty dangerous, not because my hands are super close to the blade, but the amount of sawdust that's created in this room makes it difficult to breathe, so I threw on a mask. But not only do I have to cut dados for the drawer rails, I also have to cut an extra smaller dado to fit the drawer bottoms into the drawer sides. And once I got everything cut, I had a huge pile of drawer slides, and it was pretty satisfying to look at, but I was also just as impressed with the amount of sawdust that it created. And it'll be satisfying to watch these drawers come together. I made some custom drawers for a bathroom vanity, so next it takes a card trick and some other nifty woodworking tips to finish this project. So I have my drawer fronts here, but I need to make sure that they're spaced out equally with a tiny and consistent gap around each drawer face so they slide in and out without bumping into each other. So once I figured out how many cards it takes to space things out equally, I started sliding the cards in between each board. Then I'm going to take some blue tape and tape it to the front of their drawers. This allows me to take my nail gun to tack in the nails over the blue tape. I can then remove the cards now that the drawer faces are held in place and move on to the next row until I have all the drawers attached. Once the drawers are attached, I'm going to fill all the nail holes over the blue tape, and because the nail creates a hole in the blue tape, I'm only touching the areas necessary to cover the nail holes. Once the wood filler dries, I can then sand the wood filler off, then remove the blue tape. Then all that's left is a tiny piece of wood filler that perfectly blends in with the wood without having any unnecessary wood filler stains. And now that the entire piece is completely assembled, all I have to do now is sand everything smooth, and this thing is ready to receive stain. The easiest way to ruin a piece of furniture is to do a bad job of staining. So this is a skill that everyone should learn how to do because it's the easiest and cheapest way to transform a piece of furniture into something that looks nice. So about 15 to 20 minutes before I apply the actual color stain, I'm going to use a pre-stain conditioner, and I'm going to brush that on anywhere I plan to put stain on. This helps the wood consistently soak in the color of the stain, so that way there's no blotchy spots once it's done. The next part is to actually apply the stain with a small and clean cotton cotton rag. And this is actually the easiest part because all you gotta do is just wipe it on and make sure every part of the wood is covered. Then in a few minutes, come back and wipe any excess stain off. Once you let a few hours go by, it's then time to seal the wood to protect it from any moisture damage. This requires using a brand new, clean, soft bristle brush to apply 2 to 3 coats of polyurethane while sanding with a fine grit of sandpaper in between each coat to create that perfectly smooth finish. We had to install the hardware on all 10 of our drawers, but what's so special is that other than our kitchen, this is the first time we'll have a permanent solution for storage in our house. So I created a template so that way I could drill the holes into the exact same place so that the hardware is perfectly centered on each drawer face. We carried the vanity into the bathroom, which thank goodness we didn't install our door yet because it barely fit through our ugly unfinished entry. Then we got this thing installed and secured to the wall, which allowed us to put the sink in, which then allowed me to hook up all the plumbing. And because I wanted to maximize the storage capacity of this piece, it gave me just enough room to connect all the pipes for drainage. Then we were able to hook up the faucets, the water lines, then slide all the drawers into place, and now this bathroom vanity is completely finished.